Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of the CW's The Vampire Diaries. This week we've seen Season 7, Episode 20, which was called Kill 'Em All. And, of course, that was a poor, much quieter impression of the governor saying kill 'em all before, sending his crew into the prison on The Walking Dead. But anyway, So, the Vampire Diaries is now a week ahead of the originals, so that means the Vampire Diaries is going to finish off this season a week before the originals does, as far as I know. Unless the Vampire Diaries takes a random week off within the final 2 episodes, which I really don't see why they would. It still feels a little bit funny, but, I won't mind giving the originals their own night either, like I did for the Vampire Diaries last week. So this episode, it was okay. It was a pretty good one, I want to say. Overall, it might have been a little bit more interesting to me than last week's episode was. I rember liking the Enzo and Bonnie stuff for the most part, even though it still feels random. And last week had some other good things about it, but I want to say I did enjoy this episode a little bit more all around. Although I do feel like there are just more plot lines being recycled a little bit more over and over again. There's still a lot of similarities to things we've already seen, but nonetheless, I'm excited for the direction it looks like it's going to be heading into for the final 2 episodes of the season. And of course, this episode heavily revolved around what was going on with Bonnie, what was going on with her worsening, and then of course Damon, Enzo, and the others hunting down the vampires, to cross names off Rayna's list so she can then sacrifice her last life, to give to Bonnie. And then, we also had a little bit of a side thing with Stefan and Matt as well. And we find out more about why Matt was just acting completely off the rails and going after Stefan and, the others, and, certain flash forwards we got, early on and stuff. But, we'll touch on each of those things as we go along in this video. This video probably won't be overly long because I also have to get the originals review done too, and I'm a little bit more eager to talk about that this week after what just happened at the end of that. But nonetheless, let's get into it here. Bonnie, she's told about what is actually in the vault. We found out, well, we found out previously, it's Alex's sister. Her name's Yvette, apparently, and we also hear the story about her uncle, or one of her, not her uncle, but like one of her ancestors or relatives or something, going into the vault, and then they're just completely taken away with all their all their empathy, all their love and kindness towards others is just stripped away. And you got a somewhat creepy shot of the guy walking away, and obviously hanging his wife and son. That was kind of dark. Then we also had, again, Damon and Enzo were off killing vampires, which, is a pretty cool sequence again. And, of course, it's awkward with Stefan and Matt because Matt still has a chip on his shoulder from something Stefan did, which we find out more about later in the episode. But Matt, he's still an annoying character to me. I don't know, I just don't. He's just, I say that pretty much every time there's even a scene with him. Let's see. Bonnie ends up taking blood from Rayna, to sort of keep covering up, the armory locating her now that her magic's back. And we get a flashback, to Matt proposing to Penny. And, Penny's a character we hardly seen. We found out she was dead a while ago. But, I made the point then that we never really got to know her anyway. So none of us are really affected by that loss. And, we never really, similar to Bonnie and Enzo, we never really seen the build up to that relationship until they showed us the flashbacks. And they did something similar with Matt and Bonnie here. Not Matt and Bonnie, oh god. But Matt and Penny. And although not as effectively, I want to say. The Matt and Penny flashbacks, they were cute, they're kind of nice, but it just didn't make me care. It allowed me to see, okay, so I get his thinking now, but that's about it. I still don't really feel for Matt too much. Maybe that's just because I'm still bored with the character. I don't know. He basically proposed to Penny in a way. We'll talk more about the Stefan stuff later. Bonnie, of course, she's kind of trying to settle into the idea that her time's running out, that she's dying. So she calls Damon, she tells him that she forgives him, but Damon, just knows it's not completely genuine. She's just being the selfless martyr and savior that she is. And, just, again, doing everything good for everyone else. So she's trying to make Damon feel better before she goes. Damon kind of sees right through that. Damon urges her to keep fighting, basically, keep hating him, with every fiber she has, stick to what she really believes in at this point, which is a decent scene. And then Alaric and Caroline are going together because neither of them wanted to leave their kids behind, so they both left, leaving the sitter to it. I'm just not overly excited to talk about this right now, to be completely honest. I don't know, I'm just kind of losing steam with this right now again. It's kind of weird. But anyway. Okay, I should probably talk about that for a second. There's still certain things I care about in the show, like Damon, Bonnie, Stefan. But past that, I don't know, this season just hasn't been clicking very much with me. It's just, I don't know. Let's just say I really still hope that season 8 is the last one. I still do believe in how they're going to end it, but I don't think they can go for another season. To be completely honest, it's turning into just all around. But it does have its good points. Look at me trying to rebound what I'm saying. Anyway, let's just get this video done. Now's the time I should probably learn to edit and cut that whole part out. Okay, so we get this moment from Bonnie and Enzo. Bonnie wanting him to come see her, because she's accepting her fate. So she wants to spend her last months with Enzo because she loves him. Again, they spent all that time together, so it makes sense. But still, to us, we only got a couple scenes of the build-up, so it still feels a little bit, jolted. A little bit of a jump from where we've seen him. Even though, again, the flashbacks were nice last week and still more effective than the Matt and Penny stuff, I want to say. Damon actually advises Enzo to go do that, and this was probably the best scene of the episode, okay? I know everything I just said about the show, but this scene I actually did really like, genuinely. And, just because we got to see Damon basically tell Enzo to do exactly, or behave and feel exactly how Damon to not feel exactly and behave how Damon was. Yeah, okay, I don't know if I said it the right way. I'm just this is not a good video. Anyway, but I did like Damon sort of talking about the way he would let out his anger and the way he would just push himself and the way he was feeling and the way he would act and how he was feeling, and advise Enzo completely against that, which is a scene I really liked. I wish I could remember more of the dialogue from that scene, but I'm not going to try and remember and butcher it, so you guys know what I'm talking about. That was probably my favorite scene of the episode. We find out Matt thinks Stefan killed Penny, and they're both attacked by, who we heard was like an MMA type vampire or something like that, so he's kind of a bigger dude. And of course Stefan has a little bit of trouble with him, and then he's about to kill Matt, push him into this, saw tool like blade thing, and then Stefan ends up finally overpowering the vampire and, slicing his face. We see the blood spurt, but of course you don't actually see the face, but still, it looked pretty cool. Then we get Alaric and Caroline. They go after this tattoo artist type of vampire, and they both end up being taken by the armory. And let's see what else. And then we see Matt discovering the dash cam recording he had of him being compelled by Stefan. So now Matt thinks that Stefan compelled him into forgetting that he killed Penny or something along those lines. Oh, Matt. I did take notes, as unenthusiastic as I was about this episode. I did take notes. Another moment I did actually like, believe me, was Alaric, looking at this historical artifact that was in the Armory's building. I forget what it was exactly, but to see Alaric, sort of marveling over that and sort of just obsessing, sort of geeking out and like going on a rant about it, I thought was actually kind of nice. Just to see more of that old Alaric back, I like that quite a bit. And Caroline actually said something pretty accurate about that later, which we'll get to. And then we end up finding out that Matt begs Stefan to let him remember what happened, to let him remember, to sort of undo the compulsion. Stefan does, and this is a pretty good scene as well. Again, even though I don't really like Matt too much, this is still one of the better scenes of the episode for sure. Matt, is going through the woods and he basically accidentally shot Penny, and Stefan basically just don't want him to deal with that. So again, it was mercy by Stefan, and of course Matt just jumped onto the idea that Stefan did this and that. Even though, again, Matt should be giving both Stefan and Damon more credit, considering how much Elena still loves, both of them. But again, we could talk about that another time. We have talked about it. It just kind of bugs me what the other characters hold against, certain others, and they held Elena in such high regard and stuff. Bonnie ends up opening the door, and let's see, and then Damon ends up telling Enzo he did what he couldn't, with what was going on with Bonnie, just making the deal with Rayna. And again, it's kind of that thing similar to what Damon's done with Elena before, keep her alive no matter what, whether it makes her unhappy, whether it makes others around her unhappy. He just wants to keep her alive no matter what it basically entails. And he's doing something similar with Bonnie here, and Enzo wasn't willing to cross over that line, so Enzo is basically the old Stefan in that regard. So I kind of like that parallel. Again, it's kind of more recycled stuff though, really, when you think about it. I did like the shots, when the door opened and stuff. It had a pretty cool feel to it, I thought. Atmosphere-wise, I mean. Bonnie ends up using this spell to lock Alex and the others in, which is pretty cool. So the others are killed, I'm guessing. Matt still blames Stefan, basically saying that he still came back. If he never came, none of this would have happened. That continues to be frustrating. Again, just ignoring all the good Stefan actually does, it just irritates the hell out of me. Again, I want to get Matt's perspective. At the same time, I feel like we've done this so many times before. Alaric wants Caroline to have closure, It's obvious that even though Caroline's trying to ignore, the thought of Stefan and saying, oh yeah, I'm thinking this about him, she's still obviously really hung up on it. And Alaric, she just wants her to sort of find that, find what, whatever it is between her and Stefan, whether it leads to something still being there between them or whatever. And then Caroline starts talking about how Alaric, he sort of had an old Indiana Jones moment when he got to go back out into the field and stuff, which is kind of right. Alaric does sort of miss that rush and sort of that sense of what he gets involved in and stuff, which I think was pretty accurate, and again, one of the better things about the episode. And then the twist at the end, which actually has me intrigued for next week's episode, was basically Rayna seemed very willing to give her final life, just for Bonnie. But of course there's a string attached to it, It turns out that someone else has to take Rayna's place, and it's going to be Bonnie, since she's transferring her last life to her. And so we get the preview next week of Bonnie looking like she's being a badass, going after all the vampires she can. So that should be pretty cool, Again, it's something we've seen a lot with characters sort of acting that way and going after everyone. But, still it'll be cool to see Cat Graham act like that anyway, at the very least. So there's my thoughts on the episode. And despite my little mid-review rant, I did like this episode. It wasn't great, but it was good. And, the season's just been mostly underwhelming to me. I want to say there have been some good points, but I'm just trying to run out of fuel for my enthusiasm. But I'm still looking forward to seeing where they take it for the final 2, I guess. But you can always catch me for the review. I'll do it every week, I promise you guys that. So I'll catch you guys next time for my originals review coming soon. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and look on Swoldo.com. Peace.